This miniature was first primed with Vallejo's matte black, followed by an anti-zenithal spray of violet to create shadows. I then gave a zenithal spray of dark silver and a lesser zenithal spray of a brighter silver from only directly overhead. Once inside at my desk, I thinned down some Army Painter speed paints and lightly tint the armor, using blue for the upward-facing parts and a pale orange for the downward-facing surfaces. I found that lightly stippling the speed paint was more effective for the look I wanted, as opposed to full brush strokes. I purposely wanted to leave parts of the armor untinted by the speed paints, and I was going for a bright silver armor that was reflecting the sky above and the irradiated earth below. I wasn't done with the metal parts of the armor, but I wanted to allow plenty of time for it to dry, so in the meantime I paint the hoses and rubber parts, such as the lower abdomen and behind the knees. These I did with the base coat of black, followed by 2 layer highlights of increasingly brighter grays. There's nothing fancy here. With the speed paints fully dry by now, I return to the armor and apply a pen wash using Mr. Weathering's Multi-Black and solvent. I couldn't tell you exactly what the ratio I used to mix here, as I kinda wing it each time, but I look for a consistency that clearly stains the wrinkles in my old geezer knuckles like this. This pen wash will do a lot of the work for you, seeking the crevices without any real effort. If you add too much, simply wick it away with a clean dry brush, or if needed, you can dip the brush into the clean solvent, and then gently tap the brush against a paper towel to wick away most of the solvent. Then you can carefully and gently wipe the wash away with the treated brush. After allowing time for the pen wash to fully dry, I finished the armor by edge highlighting it with silver. Here I used Winsor & Newton silver ink, which is incredibly shiny, light, and more importantly, it's simple to use. Most silver paints, if I mess up and have to remove it, there will be small little metal flecks remaining. However, with this ink, it wipes away easily with a clean brush that's slightly dampened with water. Even after 5 minutes of drying, it still removes easily. The only real downside is that this takes a long time to fully dry, but otherwise, it's user-friendly. I'm going to apologize here up front, as there are multiple instances coming where I'm out of focus, and if this didn't turn out to be one of my best dark skin tones up to date, I would have cut this out entirely. I have felt like my dark skin tones were just off and I wanted to try something different, so I took a picture of Maximus from the show and used the eyedropper and brush tools from Photoshop to build a palette of appropriate colors. Here, the top left colors are taken from the actor's skin, the bottom left are taken from the hair, and the right set is taken from his lips. Because the model was covering half of his face, which would cast a large part in the shadow, and because the only skin exposed is his face and neck, I didn't have a lot of room to use the 6 colors I had picked out, so I narrowed it down to only 4: a base coat of burnt umber, a highlight of burnt umber mixed with magenta, some shadow from burnt umber mixed with black, and finally, a brighter highlight of burnt umber mixed with raw sienna. I went back and forth glazing these colors, letting them dry fully before adding the next, and once I was done, I would repeat glazing them all again, letting each color dry before adding the next again. I glazed each color at least 4 times until I felt happy with the results. I won't be showing the hair since I just followed the same method as I did with the flesh, and the base was done in the same manner already covered in other Fallout miniature painting videos that I've done. So I'll just end this one with the red logo and shield added to the armor using primary red. Some quick touch-ups with the silver edge highlights is needed, and finally, I call it a night after blacking out the base's rim. This is what I ended up with. All in all, I really like how the armor came out, especially as it did not take much effort at all. Just around 2 hours, and the entire miniature being painted in under 5. If you have seen my Necron painting videos, this is similar to how I painted them, though I think I did a better job on this miniature. The flesh came out pretty decent, though I could have had a better transition on the brighter parts of the flesh. For lessons learned, you can see that there's some metal flakes on his face. This was caused because I forgot to clean out my water cup after doing the metal highlights, and small flecks got onto my good brush as I went between the different flesh colors. Despite that, I'm pretty confident with the end result here, and this also means I've finally finished painting the Hollywood Heroes box set for the Fallout Miniatures game, with Lucy, the Ghoul, and CX-404 having been finished previously. If you're interested in those videos, you can find the links in the description. And that will bring this video to its end. I hope you learned something or inspired to start or expand your own collection of Fallout miniatures. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and if you like the content of this video and would like to see more, you can support the channel by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. I'm Jim with Working with Miniatures. I'm truly grateful for your time, and I bid you a fond farewell. Until the next video.